Bonjour, and welcome back to the French campaign in Ultimate Admiral Dreadnoughts. It is now the year 1900, and, well, it's a couple months later than what I hoped for, but I finally have the technology that we need to build the ships selected by the Bureau of Maritime Design. Let me see, Alt-Tab, and, let's see, yeah, the Patrie is the battleship design we're gonna build. And the armored cruiser is Victor Hugo. So there. Let's Hugo and design some ships. Now, we already have a battleship class called Patrie, but they will just have to change their names. Because this is the new one. Now, the design, as selected by the committee, had 12-inch guns. But I think the new Mark II 13 should also fit. And you could think that, oh, they're gonna fit here as well, but no. Yes, they do fit. So it's just a case of the Mark I turrets that were available in the shared assignment shipbuilder were just way too big. The Mark II seems to fit fine, even without fudging the main tower and putting it backwards like that. So we should be good to go. Hopefully. Now let me just consult some screenshots of the ship we designed. Right, so this thing was to have a total of 6 funnels. I think we used these ones. And that would be 3 in between each of these platforms. Let's see, could I like get them in a more even distance? There we go. Yeah, good. Now the secondary armament was to be 6-inch guns. A lot of 6-inch guns. I did some testing on my own, and it seems the biggest you can fit on these platforms here is actually 9-inch guns, which do count as main weapons on a battleship. Like, you can place bigger turrets, but they're gonna have interference issues and won't be able to traverse properly. So there we go. That is like the main design laid out. We're gonna go 19 knots. I think 20. 20 was what was selected, or the prototype selected by the committee went 20 knots. I do actually have better armor than in the shipbuilder. But it was only this month that I was able to unlock Armored Citadel, or Citadel 2. So we're a little bit behind the curve on that one. And on a few other things, but that's how it is. When I was focusing on the gun unlocks. And gun cotton. 67.2 flash fire channels. Yikes. And it's the same with both white powder and ballastite. Ballastite has higher ammo detonation chance, but lower flashfire spreading chance. It's also a little bit heavier. There's not that much of a difference between them. I'm gonna go with white powder for now. And reduced ammo until we can get TNT-1. Which is quite a bit safer. Stereoscopic, we also just unlocked. Which I'm picking not so much because of the long-range accuracy bonus, which I feel is less impactful than the raw base accuracy bonus from coincidence. But the shell splash interference is pretty neat, especially early game like this, where those actually give you a very noticeable reduction in accuracy. Let's see, that should be equal to 15 with the 2.5 modifier. Is 15 enough? Not at 5,000 meters. So we might have to see about that. Now, turret armor actually also has a modifier. I didn't know that because the game doesn't tell you, but it's in the params file. So the incoming shell actually loses, I think it was 20% of its penetration. So that's neat to know. I don't remember if it said anything about the turret top armor though. Right. We can't put that much armor on the 6-inch guns. Can we make these 13s into 13.5s? 6s should be 6.1 at least, because that's 155 millimeter. 13.5 still works. Now we've maxed out the bulkheads. We got decent top speed of 20 knots. I feel like we might want to have some torpedoes on this thing. 17-inch, 2.7 kilometer is not bad. Now, what else for secondary guns on this? I feel like the 6-inch guns can probably take care of most things. I'm just gonna put 2-inch guns up here because they don't weigh too much. And also they don't look like full turrets like this. It looks like them. It makes a little bit more sense to have them on these platforms. Casemates. We got like 2 slots here, which is a bit weird because it looks like there should be a lot more spots for these 3-inch casemates, but 2 is all we get. Fine. Yeah, I mean, looks decent so far. Why is there a starboard weight offset? Five underwater torpedo tubes. Where is there a tube missing? Here. There we go. Sometimes things just don't mirror like they're supposed to, which is a bit annoying because then you have to play detective and figure out what has not been placed right. In this case, it was easy because I just saw it said 5 times 1, and that's not an even number. We actually have some displacement to spare. Not that much displacement, but enough to add a little bit more armor to the main belt. Also, since we made these 6-inch guns into 6.1s, we can put some more armor on them as well. Not a whole lot more, but a little bit more. What kind of performance do we get from these? That's actually decent. I think they, like, that's a pretty good combination with these 13s. So, if we just get over penetrations with AP here, the AP from the 6-inch guns might work if we're like fighting a light cruiser or something. If the 6-inch AP also overpens, like we would see with some of those 1-inch armor belt cruisers that we fought, then maybe the HE from the main guns can get it done. So yeah, that's that's pretty neat. I think that could work. Now, it's been decided that the Navy shall acquire 4 of these. I don't think... Well, I mean, we can build all 4 at the same time. But also, we're going to have to build some of those armored cruisers. So we're going to start out building 2 of these. And we're not that far off from the shipyard being expanded. So that's good. These are going in Marseille. We're building up a new squadron there. Now back to the ship designer. Let's build the cruiser. Now, 12.5. I think we can get the maximum allowed cruiser hull size up in a few years. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to start out slightly reducing the beam and draft, because we can adjust these in the refit. We cannot adjust this slider. If we start out with this at 12.5, then unlock the 13,000 cruiser size, we can increase these back up to 0 and get more than 12.5. So that's the plan for this. Now the design, as decided by the committee, only had a top speed of 18 knots. I think that's probably fine. Our existing armored cruisers, the Thionville and Puteaux, only go at 17.5. So these are actually going to be slower than the new battleships. But that's fine. That's actually okay. Because for a while, these will just have to operate alongside the older cruisers. Probably in the same divisions. Main tower, secondary tower. What did I do with the funnels here? Okay. Oh, I just saw green there. Come on. Don't be so... Okay, I guess I will just have to move this tower a little bit out of the way. And I was so happy I got it right up to that platform there. Is it because I narrowed the beam too much? It doesn't go any further forwards? There. That was a little bit tricky to place. And there. You can flip them 180. You cannot flip them 90 degrees. By the way. Main guns. Now we actually have both 11 and 10 up to Mark II. The design selected by the committee had 9-inch guns. I think we can stretch that to 10. Actually, I think the design selected by the committee had, hang on, let me double check. Yeah, it had 9.6-inch guns. I think in that case, 10 is a decent size. Now, what it also had was 7-inch guns here, and were those also 7s? Yes, 7.4s actually. So we're gonna make those 7.4s. And we had, I think simply, let's see, why did I put 5-inch guns here? On the design selected by the committee. Is it because they, the 7-inch guns? Yeah. That's why I did that. But the 5-inch guns, they seem to work fine there. Fine. And 3-inch guns here. Do they block... They do not block the 7-inch guns. Good. So that's that taken care of. Now let's see if we can actually install all the good things on this ship without going overweight. Now we're gonna have to like add some more secondary guns up on these platforms to make it not empty. Let's go coincidence on the cruiser. Right. Armor penetration at 5,000 meters, 9.7. That should be equal to 10. It's like somewhat similar armor scheme to the battleship, actually. The 7-inch guns were 7.4. We're getting close to that limit, so might be that something has to be reduced. We put a lot of armor on these 7.4-inch guns. I don't think they need that much armor. But they do need some armor because they do count as main guns, and I don't want them exploding and causing massive flash fire explosions. Because suddenly this ship has a lot of turrets. There. We are a little bit overweight. We can reduce some systems. And maybe through future refits, save weight and put these systems back on. Maybe. But for now, this is how it's going to be. I will add some side torpedo launchers, though. Just side launchers, not bow and stern. What's our flash fire chance? It's probably really bad. Almost 40%. Yeah, let's actually reduce the okay, double bottom is just too much, is it? You know, let's reduce the ammo a little bit. Once we get TNT1 and maybe something like tube powder, we can increase this without too much risk of flash fires. Let's see, what else kind of secondary armament did this thing have? Single 2-inch guns. Right. We can squeeze those in. Okay, now I actually have 2 more 2-inch guns than the prototype. Did we give it anything else? 3-inch casemates, by the looks of things. No? 2-inch? Yes, must have been these. Let's see, looking at the screenshot here. 6 single 3-inch guns. Oh, yeah, no, of course. Those are the, wait, what? 6? Shouldn't that be 8? Yeah, okay, no. These are, I see. The 6 single 3-inch guns are casemates that I mounted in the towers. And these I had at 3.9. Will that be enough? Or, I mean, will that be too much? No, that still works. I think that is good enough. Do we want to lengthen the main guns a little bit? Yeah, I think so. Just a little bit. Is that good? I think that's good for now. Victor Hugo. And 4 of these, almost exactly 50,000 tons. So they're going to go to Marseille. Let's see. I also have these here in Shanghai. That's a pretty good squadron right there. Fort Bayard. Not really too much here, but that should be a pretty peaceful section. We have some shipbuilding capacity to spare. That's going to be 14 months for the cruisers, 18 for the battleships. We're going to have some spare capacity now very soon. Let's just skip ahead a couple months. It is now a couple months later, and we have a new light cruiser hull. Light Cruiser 3. So we now only have 2 light cruiser hulls available. It is this one. It's a larger version of the Pascal that we have. Or is it the same one? No. Because this can't be that small. That would be Light Cruiser 1, I assume. And then we got Light Cruiser 3, which is the same hull model as our existing armored cruisers. But this one is a light cruiser. We can currently make that up to 6,000 tons. It can go 26 knots. Whether or not that is possible, that remains to be seen. It may be that we need to reduce speed a little bit, because the engines we have are not that good. So that is one tower that we have. Let's see, funnels. Even with induced boilers, this triple funnel is only 65%. I think we need to reduce speed. We're at 5,000 tons already, with no guns mounted. And I think for funnels, 2 of these double funnels will work. Just about. For main guns, though, we have some options. I think our 7-inch guns, the Mark IIs, are performing very well on existing light cruisers. And this time we can fit more than 2. Can we make it clear these boats? Yes, actually. It's a much better angle. Secondary guns. Do you clear that? You do. There. Not a full 360 spin, but it's good enough. So even that little sliver of a barbette is enough to make these guns clear the lifeboats. can put a 3-inch gun there as well. How about casemates? Can we... Ooh! Yeah. We'll see. We'll see how much displacement we end up with. What is for certain is that we're going to cover this thing in torpedoes. Because our light cruisers have done very well with torpedoes. And I want to continue that tradition. Let's go increased HE. Because that's actually closer to a 50-50 AP and HE split. And yeah, increased HE on the secondaries as well. White powder, gun cotton. 17-inch torps. 2.7 kilometer range. After having played so long with only 900-meter torpedo range, that is a welcome change. Now the question is, can we put any decent armor on this? And the answer seems to be no. Because we are so close to that displacement limit. We're over it, actually. And especially as these turrets require a little bit of protection. What kind of deck penetration are we looking at here? Okay. Not much, so we can reduce the deck armor at least. That's probably good enough. 200 tons overweight. Single hull bottom. I don't want to get rid of Citadel 2 because that gives me like the better belt protection. I think this is also one of those ships that we're just gonna have to build as is, imperfect, and then hope that whenever we get steam turbines, we can shave off enough weight to make it better. But that's a pretty quick refit. That's a 1-month refit, probably. To, you know, undo all these compromises that we have to make when building it. It's better to spend a year building it imperfectly and then 1 month to perfect it than it is to wait a year for the tech, or more than a year probably, for the tech to arrive and then spend a year building it. That's my rationale. Gonna ship a broken ship and then give it the day 1 DLC. That's the AAA way. And I know you've been eyeing this hull, but don't worry about that. That's for later. Now, the destroyer, I don't even think I'm going to attempt it. Because this really needs turbines to be viable. We are going to attempt building a torpedo boat, though. Let's minimize the beam and put the draft down to almost -13. This can go 27. Let's say 26. We're going to need range. And this one will be a torpedo boat that can also gunfight. That's the plan. Now, do any guns? You can put 5-inch guns on this. Do any guns fit on that funnel thing? No. It looked like it had a gun platform, but it didn't. We're just gonna do the traditional thing. We do one of those funnels, then one of these funnels. And that is okay range. That should not completely run out of fuel and hold back an entire task force. Now, actually, I think the 4-inch gun might be enough. Pretty big weight difference, 4 and 5-inch guns. And put that there. Twin torpedo tubes, which we can make 17-inch. 2.7 kilometer torp range. Pretty good. Of course, semi-oil instead of coal will also help. I'm gonna reduce the ammo because while I do think this would probably do okay in a gunfight, if that gunfight is long enough that it runs out of ammo, it's probably gonna be long dead by that time. We can tickle destroyer armor with this gun. With standard AP. Hang on, with, yeah. Good. Gonna need those turrets to actually turn around, though. I imagine this will be doing a lot of crazy maneuvers. We're gonna put more torpedoes on it, don't worry. Yeah, we have more displacement to play with. I imagine these torpedoes will become bigger with future refits. So it might be a good idea to have them a little bit spaced out. If they're 17-inch now, I don't think it's gonna be that long until they're 18-inch. Good enough. A little bit overweight, but not really that much. All things considered. Hmm. Yeah, lightening the deck armor doesn't really do much. Light shells. That's fine. Actually. Yeah. This is the TB00? Can we call it that? Let's call it TB99. I know it's not 1899 anymore, but 00 just seems a little bit wrong. So we're 1 knot faster than the existing ship. But I think it can be made faster because the optimal speed is higher. But turbines, should probably be able to push this up to 27. And with future upgrades, I know that we can push it much higher. If you remember the TB94s from my Ottoman campaign, they also originally had a optimized hull speed of, I don't remember if it was 25 or 27, but we pushed them up to 38 at the end of the campaign with gas turbines. So maybe these will live as long. We'll see. It will probably look very different by the end. And 8 of those are now being built in Marseille. We already have 4 torpedo boats here. And these will have to move up here. So that this squadron also gets 8 torpedo boats. But I don't want to mix the classes here because they got different top speeds. And that's just asking for trouble. So we have some leftover capacity. Let's build some of these light cruisers. We can build 2 of them. Yeah. 3 would just be a little bit too much. But the shipyard keeps growing. Not just from expanding it, but also from the GDP constantly increasing. Let's see where to put these. Port Arthur? Probably a nice place to put it. That's way over in Korea. And let's see. Dominican Republic. Yes. Get some more over there. Because we took that from the Spanish. Let's see, United States is putting an end to Chile. I think this is their last territory. If this invasion is successful, that is yet another nation gone from the campaign. And things are getting spicy. Again, Netherlands and Belgium fighting. Also, I saw Russia has already gotten TNT-1. So who else is at war now with whom? How are my relations? I've gotten them to 0, pretty much all of them. For many of them, I did the trick where I accepted an alliance, waited for them to offer one without asking me for money, and then I broke it to bring it down to 0. That's a good way to do it if you got too many positive relations with too many nations. Explosives. Are we getting the TNT-1? Yes. In 6 months. Larger light cruisers. What else are we getting? No turbines yet. I think this is the last of the expansion engines before turbines, though. So maybe we'll get it before it's dreadnought time, which it will be at some point. Naval gun barrels. All right. Also, the British are building a lot of these Natal class armored cruisers, which is one of my designs. And I think that is actually a... I'm not sure. I think that's a 1904 design. If that's the case, I'll have to double check my share designs. But if that's the case, they are way ahead in technology. Which means I should probably find a way to fight them sooner rather than later, while I assume their navy is still mostly pre-dreadnoughts. It's huge. It's a friggin' massive navy, but if most of those are pre-dreadnoughts and they've not been kept up to date with constant refits like mine have, I have a chance. If I wait for them to like scrap everything and build dreadnoughts instead, then I'm the one with out-of-date ships. And I cannot pump out 30 dreadnoughts in no time. And also, I just want to have a big pre-dreadnought fight with someone with a big pre-dreadnought navy. Because so far I feel kind of cheated out of that, because all the nations I've been fighting have already thrown away their navies fighting someone else. So I want to have those big battles. There's, not really that much more to it. And also, I just wanted to show you this because it's kind of funny. They're doing like counter invasions here. The Belgians are invading the Dutch, and the Dutch are invading the Belgians. I thought that was pretty amusing. And with that, I think Chile should dissolve. I don't think they have anything else. The United States just took it. So next turn, probably they should be gone. And here you can see the aftermath of an AI versus AI fight. Their entire navies are repairing. Well, the Minister of Foreign Affairs is complaining that we're not building enough cruisers. I tried to explain to him that it's the shipbuilding capacity being maxed out that's the issue. That's why we're only building 4 out of the 8 Victor Hugo class cruisers that we were instructed to build. And then he just gave me a bunch of money, so I guess that's okay. And what I was afraid of has started to happen. The British Empire has started scrapping some of their older ships. These are the old TB90s that I made for them, identical to my own, basically. Light cruisers, armored cruisers, any other shared assigned ships that they've built and are now scrapping. Mostly torpedo boats, it seems. No. One battleship. EL design. So that's someone's shared design. Yeah, a few battleships. Sadly, they would have been fun to fight. Would basically have been free kills for my more upgraded pre-dreadnought battleships. But hopefully they still have quite a few of those still sailing around. Actually, it seems this task force is heading into Scapa Flow. Let's see next turn if they scrap another 8 battleships, 11 armored cruisers, 8 lights, and 2 torpedo boats. No, apparently they just sent them to port. So maybe this is a more modern task force. We're gonna free up some space in our shipyards in 2 months, actually. Then we can build another squadron of armored cruisers. But enough space did free up that we can apply a refit to the Justice class battleships. First of all, let's see. Ooh, we get Mark 3 3-inch guns now. Mark 2. So they must have been Mark 1 to begin with. Do these actually work? No, they do not. How about if I, let's see, let's get that out of the way first. Increase the draft by 1. Come on, let me select things. No. These are just stuck with having a very bad... Come on, can I at least point straight out? There, 90. Sometimes it's like it resets the increments on its own, which is a bit annoying, but... Anyway, here we go. Like, these do kind of work. I know, because we've been playing with them. They're not always firing like they should be. But sometimes they do. And that's good enough. Well, let's see, we now have TNT 1. And with Citadel 2, we can lighten the inner belt. And with better armor quality, we can actually thin down the turret armor just a little bit to save some weight that way. Right. That's a 2-month refit. Can we do anything about these? Also, I'd like to just have some more, like, secondary guns up here. And down there, I guess. If I replace these 6-inch guns with 5-inch guns... do the 7-inch guns become happier? A little bit happier. So let's do that. Yes, it still says, like, poor sector of fire, but it's better than what it was. And that's the important part. So, there. Somewhat refit just this class. Let's slap some torps on it. Just because we can. So what's the flash fire channels now with TNT1? 34.7%, so it's not that much better, but it's something. I feel this is this can work. Very good engine efficiency though, induced boilers and all those funnels. Could probably take some of those funnels off, but if they're already there, already mounted, you know, why? There, decent punch for a pre-dreadnought battleship. And there, I'm building 4 more cruisers. Soon we're going to build 2 more battleships. The 4 Thionville class cruisers here in Le Havre, 3 of them are moving here to Fort Bayard, linking up with this one. And the last one is moving here to the Caribbean. Let's see, these are Putho class. Okay. Just so I know what is what. And that's basically it. I'm gonna work on seeing if I can get a war started, preferably with Britain, for the next episode. Because I do want to fight all of this. That seems like it would be fun. Goodbye, and take care.